Hello, everyone. Welcome back to This Week in Biotech by Biotech Blueprint. Today, I'm covering biotech and pharma news from September 12th to 18th, 2025, and it is edition number 70. And as you can see, I am outside today. It's a beautiful day in the Czech Republic. I'm in my parents' backyard, and I thought I would try to record outside. Wi-Fi is really good here. And I apologize, I have a little bit of a cold, but that shouldn't interfere with today's video. So this week's key takeaways. First of all, I wanted to talk about the ACIP or ACIP drama. So AHIP said that member plans will keep $0 cost share for all vaccines that ACIP had recommended as of September 1st, 2025. So before this meeting that they just had, yesterday and today as well, including the updated COVID and flu shots through the end of 2026. So that grandfathers access even if ACIP narrows guidance. The caveat, of course, is that not every plan is with AHIP. For example, United Healthcare isn't. So what happened at this ACIP meeting? On day one, the reconstituted ACIP, I'm saying reconstituted because RFK Jr. basically removed all existing 17 members back in June and put in new people. Honestly, not that long ago. Some of them even last week. I think the last 5 were added last week. So for all of them, it's a new job. So yesterday, which was Thursday, they voted to stop recommending MMRV vaccine before the age 4. So that's the MMR vaccine and varicella vaccine as a combination. And they favored instead the separate MMR vaccine and varicella vaccine. So the MMRV basically is just a little bit more convenient. It's a single shot instead of 2 separate shots. And then secondly, they decided to vote about hepatitis B and COVID boosters on Friday, so today. And this is going to be after the newsletter and the video drops. So I'll follow up in the next issue and also in Substack notes. Regarding the hepatitis B shot, so they are basically deciding whether children should be vaccinated right after they're born. So normally children are vaccinated with the first shot when they're around 24 hours old, and that's the reason for that is that most people that have hepatitis B chronically don't know about it, and so the idea is that it protects children from being exposed to hepatitis B, not obviously through the mother because she's tested in pregnancy, but through other caretakers. And so I think that this is more worrisome than the MMRV vaccine, but basically they're pushing this vaccination to after the baby is 1 month old. It definitely kind of messes up with the schedules, but that's what is happening, and they're voting about this on Friday, aka today. I personally am expecting that they're going to change it because the vote to stop recommending MMRV before age 4 was, I think, 7-3. So there's several deals happening this week. You can read about those in the full newsletter, but one of the bigger one was Roche is buying 89bio for $3.5 billion to acquire a drug called pegozafermin, a phase 3 FGF21 analog for MASH. So mechanistically, this pegozafermin is an anti-fibrotic, anti-inflammatory lever that pairs neatly with Roche's growing CVRM portfolio and critically creates combo optionality with incretins as obesity and fatty liver pathways converge. This slots alongside Roche's recent Carbon buy, which include incretins, and the Zealand obesity partnership, signaling a serious push to own the obesity-adjacent metabolic stack, not just GLP-1s. So this week, FDA cleared ruxolitinib, 1.5% cream for pediatric atopic dermatitis, which is the first topical JAK for kids that are aged 2 to 11. In the phase 3 trial, there were no safety signals in the 8-week control period. And I think that we can expect strong payer interest as a steroid-free option. And then the safety narrative will depend on real-world use and duration of non-continuous treatment. So there's a rare disease standout this week, Regeneron's garetosmab in fibrodysplasia of ossificans progressiva, or FOP. In phase 3 optimal trial, an anti-activin A drug called garetosmab cut new heterotypic bone lesions by about 90 to 94% versus placebo, with more than 99% reduction in total new lesion volume at 56 weeks. And then the drug was doing actually so good that DMC recommended crossing placebo to drug. Next, Lilly pushes Mounjaro into pediatrics with type 2 diabetes. The Surpass Peds trial in youth 10 to under 18 hit big. Their A1C levels went down by 2.2% at 30 weeks versus 0% on placebo, which is a big shift, and patients' BMI went down by 11%. The benefits persisted to week 52. GI weight side effects were consistent with adults. There are no severe hypoglycemia reported. Lilly's filing is underway, broadening a mega franchise and tightening its grip on youth onset type 2 diabetes where options are thin. And then lastly, what we see is this new thing happening across America with blue states in anticipation of this ACIP meeting happening yesterday and today. The West Coast Alliance, California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii issued broad fall vaccine guidance. Flu for everyone 6 months plus, wide COVID RSV coverage for kids, pregnant women, older adults. And then within less than 24 hours, New York State and other states surrounding New York or the Northeast Alliance launched a parallel collaborative. And so basically there will be sort of patchwork access for vaccines, but there'll be definitely less disruption for these states that are issuing their own guidance, regardless of the ACIP shifts that we're expecting today. So I apologize for the dog barking. I don't know if you could hear it in the back, and also for the man mowing the lawn behind me. But this is it for this episode, for this edition. Again, there's more to find in the actual written portion or in the key takeaways on Substack. I also published yesterday a new episode. It's again a collaboration with my friend Hartaj Singh from the Biotech Capital Campus, and it is part 1 of our mRNA therapeutics mini-series. It was really fun to record, and we covered sort of the foundational science behind mRNA and how RNA became medicine. We talked about sort of the breakthroughs before COVID and what made COVID vaccines possible. And we also talk about what's coming next in the infectious disease space. And then we also talk about Moderna and Biotech's pipeline. There's a nice accompanying article. And we plan to do and focus more on the latent vaccines and cancer vaccines in our following part 2. And I hope to publish that late September or early October. Also in a similar vein, a few weeks ago, I interviewed the CEO of Sensible Bio and also their principal computational biologist. And we talk a little bit more about what they're doing with mRNA, and it's a really interesting listen. So I hope to publish that next week as well. So lots of interesting stuff coming. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for your support. And thanks for tuning in to This Week in Biotech number 70. And I'll be back next week.